Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Monolog, a one time show where I talk about issues that have been on my mind. And this morning, I want to talk about mental health and how you can deal with it. Okay, so I'm sure that many of you guys listening have gone through the torture of high school education. Congrats, you're here now. But what do you guys remember about the counselor experience? Not too much? Other than the people that check our grades and eat Trader Joe's salads during their lunch breaks. Now I know the work of a counselor is tough work, dealing with so many students, but come on. I thought the job of the counselor was to guide us through this time in our lives where we are changing and things don't seem to make sense. Hell, I've been there. Stressed and confused, only for my counselor to look at my grades and tell me that I have nothing to worry about. Really? That shouldn't be the way to deal with stress. I'm pretty sure that grades are the source of stress in the first place, at least for a lot of people. Alright, so what do we do with this stress? Well, hear me out. And trust me, this is not some hippie garbage, but mindfulness. Yeah, it can really be that simple. And for those at home who don't know, mindfulness is just the practice of monitoring yourself, your breathing, your feelings, really just how you are in the now. You can even ask yourself basic questions like, how am I feeling right now? Do I feel sad, angry, confused, stressed? And then ask yourself why. Just go along with those questions and sort of diagnose yourself as you go. Kind of like how you diagnose an engine issue in your car. I'm sure after hearing all of that, you must think I'm crazy. Oh, you can't solve your problems by asking yourself how you feel. That's so pointless. Well, you're wrong. Check this out. There's a woman named Gael DeBoris, and she's a neuroscientist at Massachusetts General Hospital Martinos Center for Biomedical Imaging. And she is the instructor in radiology at Harvard Medical School. So I think she knows what she's doing. Her backstory in the practice of mindfulness comes from her own time as a student, grinding long hours into studying. And I'm sure you guys can relate when I tell you that, well, she burnt out. But even with the overwhelming stress of being a med student, DeBoris found that practicing mindfulness was a good form of meditation and found it beneficial to her. And one might say, well, that could just be her case. Mindfulness doesn't work for everybody. And funny story, by the way, she is one of those people that said this. So she and her team went to go see if there was anything to back the practice of mindfulness. And they did. Basically, what DeBoris and her colleagues did was they conducted an experiment where they took a bunch of clinically depressed patients and conducted fMRI scans on their brains. They then enrolled each patient in an 8 week mindfulness based therapy session, also known as MBCT, followed by a rescan of the patient's brain and rescanned everyone's brains. They found that the neural networks that were responsible for these emotions were much weaker and less brain activity was measured from the region, the amygdala, or in English, it worked. Now meet Sunny Wright, the executive director and co founder of Mindfulness First. As someone who has also struggled with stress induced mental illnesses, she, along with her friend Kimberly Nard, established Mindfulness First, a nonprofit organization meant to bring mindfulness awareness and social emotional learning to as many schools as possible. Their goal is essentially to educate the work staff, i.e., the counselors of schools, how to practice mindfulness themselves, but more importantly, how to teach other people to practice mindfulness, which is super good for the next generation of kids that can hopefully check themselves before they wreck themselves. Please check out Mindfulness First on their website, mindfulnessfirst.org, or on their Instagram at mindfulnessfirst. And thank you guys again for tuning in for the morning monologue. I've been your host, Joshua Schwartzbart.